Hello, good morning. Today we are going to look at how to initiate a conversation or how to start a conversation. We all know that if you are starting a conversation or if you meet somebody, what do? First, you greet the person, you ask the person how the person is feeling, and then you ask the person's name, and then the conversation continues. So, today we are going to look at how to greet in sign language, how to ask the person how he is feeling, and then the response, and then how to ask of the person's name. So we start with how to greet. So when you meet a person, you greet good morning. Good morning. So in sign language, this is how we sign good. So good. So good. Now, how do we sign morning? So after signing the good, then you bring your non-dominant arm. That's the one below. So this one, the one below, you bring it, you place it here. That's the morning. So morning. So we have good morning. So good morning. And then we have good afternoon. So with the morning, you realize that morning, we sign it this way. The reason being that the sun is now rising. So that's why we sign morning this way. Now let's look at the good afternoon. We already know that this is how we sign good. So this is good. So now let's add the afternoon to it. So with the afternoon, the non-dominant arm, you turn it upside down like this. Then you place your dominant hand on it. So it will be this way. So this is afternoon. So good afternoon. So with this, I am a right-handed person. So if you are a left-handed person, the meaning is going to be what? Good afternoon. If you are a left-handed person. And then the same way, if you are a left-handed person and you are greeting good morning, it becomes what? Good morning. If you're a left-handed person. Okay, now let's continue. Good evening. So we know that with the afternoon, the sun is what? Has arise. Now let's look at the good evening. So we have the good, as we already know, and then the evening, the non-dominant palm, you turn it upside down with the palm facing down. Then you place the dominant on it. So as you can see, this way, you place it on it. And the reason being that now the sun is what? The sun is setting. So good evening. So now good evening. So now the sun is what? The sun is setting. So good evening. Now when you meet a person in the night, you give the person what? Good night. So let's look at how to say good night. So we all know good. So good. Then with the night, you curve the palm. As you can see the way I've done it. You bend the palm. You bend it. meaning now the sun is hidden. The sun is hidden, so the sun is nowhere to be found again. Yeah, so that's the rationale behind it. As you can see, that's the rationale behind it. So good night. Good night. Okay, so let's go over one last time. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And we have good evening. Good evening. And then we have good night. Good night. Now let's proceed. Now, how do you ask the person how the person is feeling? So you ask, how are you? How are you? So in sign language, we don't sign how are you. No. So it just go by how are you? How are you? So this becomes the how, then you pointing at the person becomes the you. So how are you? How are you? And then also some people also sign how are you as this way. How are you? So it's the same. So this becomes the how, and then when you point, it also becomes the you. So how are you? Or how are you? It's the same. So how are you? Or how are you? Then how do you respond? I'm fine. So I'm fine. So this is fine. I'm fine. So I'm fine. Straightforward. You don't say I am fine. No. You say I'm fine. I'm fine. Now, how do you ask of the person's name? How do you ask of the person's name? So in asking of the person's name, so you ask the person's name. So what is your name? So in sign language, when you are constructing your sentence, you construct it as you are speaking your local language. You construct it as you are speaking your local language. So you say, what is your name? So in sign language, you sign it as what is you. That's you are pointing at the person. Name. So the H, the letter H. So both hands adapt the H. So name. So you, name, what? Or you can say you, name, what? You don't say what is your name. No. In sign language, you say you, name, what? Just like you are speaking your local dialect. If you are speaking Twi, you say wo din the same. Within the same. So the same way in sign language. Then the person will respond, or you will respond, oh, my name. So me here, my name is what? Josiah. 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 So my name, Josiah. So if I do this, this is my sign name. If I do this and the deaf want to know the full meaning of the name, you ask me to finger spell finger spell. So if you want somebody to spell something for you, you do this. Finger spell. So I will finger spell. Josiah. Josiah. So let's recap what we just did now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. How are you? Or how are you? I'm fine. What is your name? My name. Then you add your name. So my name is Josiah. Thank you for watching, and if you have any comments, you can inbox me. I will answer you. Thank you.